Good morning friends. So in the today's lecture we will see what is an inner product. Before going to inner product, because already we know that an inner product is nothing but a generalization of a dot product. Why this is so, later on we will see, but actual what is an inner product, it is nothing but a generalization of a dot product. So that's why we should know firstly what is a dot product. So for that, let me write down a dot product. How you write a dot product of any two vector a bar dot b bar is nothing but mod a mod b cos of theta, right? But what is an interpretation of this dot product, right? For this we must know, let us start with some vectors a and b. Suppose this is a some vector a bar and this is a b bar. So now what is this theta? Theta is nothing but the angle between the two vectors, right? Now if I want to write down dot product, we must know firstly projection. What is the meaning of projection? In Marathi we call it as a Savli. So what is a projection of a bar on b bar? Because if you know the projection, then we can generalize the concept for dot product, because what we want to see now the inner product. So that's why first we will see what is a projection. Now what will be a projection of a bar on b bar? That I can write projection of a bar on b bar. I think everyone know about what is a projection of a bar on b bar. That we can write it as mod a cos theta. Okay, what is the meaning of projection? It is a image that we are getting, image of a bar on b bar. Just like suppose we are standing somewhere and the sun is about exactly on your head. So what is a projection of yourself? It is simply a dot. And if you are suppose standing there and the sun is exactly behind you, so what will be the projection? You will get the projection in front of you on the ground itself, right? So as the position of a sun is going to change, your image is also going to change. So rather we can call it the projection of yourself on the ground is also going to change as the position of yourself or the position of sun is going to change it time by time, right? So suppose if I am saying that it is perpendicular, that is a bar dot b bar, and if I am saying instead of having an angle theta, that angle theta, if I say it is a 90 degree, so what will be mod a mod b and cos of 90? Everyone know what will be cos 90, that is nothing but 0. So that's why if suppose we you are standing somewhere where the sun is exactly above your head, so what will be the projection? It is simply 0. So here also we are getting a bar dot b bar. If the angle between them is 90 degrees, so we are getting the dot product is 0. So what is the projection of a is projection of a on b is nothing but mod a cos of theta, right? Now how you are going to get an angle theta? That will be nothing but we are writing this as arc of cos x dot y divided by mod x mod y, right? If you are writing for x and y, it is x dot y, or otherwise we can write a dot b divided by mod a mod b. Arc in the sense we are writing cos inverse of this x dot y divided by mod x into mod y, right? Now can anyone tell me that what will be cos of theta? With the help of this image we can say cos of theta, we can write it as, it is nothing but b bar upon a bar, right? Adjacent divided by hypotenuse. So how you are going to get an hypotenuse? Just you have to draw perpendicular on b bar. So with the help of that you can get a projection. So now we can get a cos theta is nothing but b upon a. So how you are going to write down b bar? It is nothing but simply a bar cos of theta with the help of this, right? Now for this equation, if I am taking the dot product, so what will be a dot b will be mod A, and here is also A cos of theta. Correct? Sorry. Instead of writing this, we can write it as A dot A cos of theta. Now everyone know what is A dot A, as your functional analysis lectures are going on. So you must know what will be a dot product, x dot x. How you write x dot x in functional analysis? It is nothing but your norm of x, or rather it is norm of x raised to half, right? Or rather we can write it as simply x dot x is nothing but mod of x square. Or how you are going to write down this norm in terms of inner product, right? So first we must know what is norm is nothing but under root of x dot x, right? What will be x dot x? It is nothing but mod x cos of theta. Now angle theta is nothing but 0, so simply we get mod x square is nothing but x dot x. So what will be a value of mod x is nothing but under root x dot x, that we can write it as norm of x is nothing but under root of inner product of x, right? Now in the second chapter of your functional analysis, you will see what is an inner product, because instead of having an inner product, you have a topic of Hilbert space. In that you will see what is an inner product and how what is the relation between inner product and the norm. Now here we can see, so what is x dot x? It is nothing but mod square of x, right? So with the help of this, we have defined a mod x is nothing but under root of x dot x, right? So for this we must know what is an inner product. Now everyone know about the inner product. Before going to inner product, let me start with our simple calculations, like we are performing 2 into 3. What will be 2 into 3? That is 6. Now actually I want to show why the inner product we are saying it is a generalization of a dot product, right? So let us start with the simple calculation. Suppose here I am plotting it is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Now suppose I am saying that I want to perform a multiplication of 2 and 3. So what will be 2 dot 3 or 2 into 3? That is 6. Or 3 into 2, that will be 6. Now how this multiplication is performed, everyone can see. Suppose I want to perform a multiplication 3, that means I will plot this 3. Now what it is the multiplication 2 into 3, that means I have to perform this 2 times. So this will be, right? So I am getting this as 2 into 3 is nothing but 6. So here also I can perform this in the another way, that is distance to this I have to perform 3 times, that is first, second, and this is third one, right? So this is what a simple multiplication. So with the help of a simple multiplication itself, we have to extend an idea to the second one, that is our dot product, correct? So instead of having 2 and 3, I will generalize the concept for A and B, correct? So if I want to generalize the concept for A and B, suppose I am having a vectors A bar and B bar. So what are those vectors A bar and B bar? For that I will write down A bar with this is coordinate, that is AX, and what will be second one? That will be our second one is AY, correct? With AX, AY, and B bar with BX and BY, correct? So what will be A bar dot B bar? If I want to evaluate the product of these two vectors, instead of evaluating the product of any two number, I am evaluating the product of two vector. Now if I want to evaluate the product of two vector, I will do the calculations as ax. First I will do this as ax bx plus ax by plus next one is bx ay, and lastly we will have by ay. Correct? Now for this, if I want to evaluate this one ax dot bx, if I am evaluating the dot product, and here it is ax, in the sense it is in the x, and both are in the x direction. Here it is in the x direction, then this component is in the y direction. So simply a bar is our vector, and these are x component and this is y component. This is x and y. So now I have to evaluate the product of these two. What will be dot product of ax by? As we know that x and y, if you are taking xy axis, so what is an angle between them? It is 90, and we know that if you are having a dot product, so ax dot by will be simply 0, and what will be bx dot ay? Again the angle between x and y, this is 0, so simply we get this 0. So what will be a bar dot b bar? It is only with ax bx plus ay by. Correct? Now let us evaluate this like this. Suppose we have here, this is what ax, and second one we will have ax, and here it is bx. Secondly we will have some here by, and it is ax, and third one we have, this is ay and this is bx, and the lastly by means here and ay here. Correct? So both are in the same direction, so we get angle between them will be 0, and here angle between them is 90 degrees. So these two second and third term will be 0, so we remains with ax bx and ay by. Correct? So this is what this is simply a bar dot b bar. If you are having any two vectors, say this is a bar and suppose here it is b bar. Correct? So this is what ax bx, and here both are in the same direction, that is in the direction of x-axis. by ax, this is ay bx, and this is by ay, that is both are going in the y direction. Correct? Now let us generalize this concept. For that we will write down, let us start with the simple multiplication. Just now we have seen 2 into 3, that is we have to perform a simple multiplications of any two number, right? So let me write down multiplications of number, that is alpha dot beta will be nothing but your beta dot alpha, that will name it as symmetric property. The second one will name it as linearity, that will be alpha plus beta into gamma is nothing but alpha gamma plus beta gamma.
Yes, sir.
Next is homogeneity, that we can write it as alpha beta gamma is nothing but alpha beta gamma. This is simply with the help of multiplication. Now what is the meaning of positivity? Now this is nothing but alpha dot alpha will be nothing but obviously greater equal by 0. If you are having any two real numbers, suppose we have any two real number, obviously the product of this will be obviously greater equal by 0, and it is equal to 0 only if alpha is 0, that is alpha dot alpha will be equal to 0 if and only if alpha is equal to 0, just like your norm x is equal to 0 only if x is equal to 0, right? Now the concept of this multiplication we will generalize to a dot product. Correct? So what will be a dot product? Again it will satisfy u dot p is nothing but v dot u. Similarly it will satisfy the second one, u plus v dot product with w is nothing but u dot w plus v dot w. Similarly we can have instead of having the any two numbers or three numbers, we will generalize the concept for vectors. So that will be alpha, suppose we have u v w, that we can write a u dot v dot w, right? So here if you add these two vector and then take a dot product, it will be exactly equal to u dot w plus v dot w. Here also first you can perform the dot product and then you can perform the dot product of this vector with the w. Next u dot v dot w. Next is positivity. if you are having the same vectors, that is u dot u, what will be a dot product of u with u itself? It is obviously greater equal by 0, and it is equal to 0 only if u is equal to 0, right? And here also you can see, if you perform the dot product of vw, and then you can perform with u, and here you can perform the dot product of u with u with v, and then finally you can perform with the w, right? So let us go now for the generalization. That is, we want to write down an inner product is a generalization of a dot product. So how you will write down an inner product as a generalization of a dot product? So how you write? Firstly, dot product u dot v is nothing but summation ui vi, or you can just now we have seen here how you write this. A dot v is nothing but ax bx ay by. Just like you can write it as u dot v is nothing but summation ui vi. On the condition these two should be 0. Why? Because the angle between them is 90 degrees, so we get the dot product is 0. So we can write this as summation ui vi, where ui and vi are nothing but the components of the your vector u and v. So let me write down the inner product, that we can write it as u dot v is nothing but your inner product of v dot v with u, correct? Similarly, now you can have this u plus v w. We can write this as u w plus inner product of v w, correct? The next one we can have we will see what will be v dot inner product of v with v. It will be obviously greater equal by 0, because it is the inner product is nothing but your generalization of norm, and we know that norm is always greater equal by 0, and norm is equal to 0 only if your x that is your vector itself is equal to 0, correct? So let me now generalize the concept of this inner product. How you write the inner product of any two vector. Instead of having, suppose it only for 2D or 3D space. So suppose it is n dimensional, so u with say u1 u2 and up to so on un, and v with some v1 v2 up to so on vn or vm. Let me write down for vn. So what will be inner product of u with v? If that is nothing but summation ui vi, correct? Now let us go for our concept that we want to see in this lecture. That is nothing but the inner product. After the inner product, we will see some of the properties of a norm that you have seen already in the lecture of functional analysis. So for that, I must say you we must know what is a dot product of any two vectors. Suppose I am writing the vector p as with the say coordinates say p1 p2 p3, and second one with q is nothing but with q1 q2 and q3. So what will be the dot product of p with q? That we have to write down simply we have to evaluate with the help of a dot product coordinate wise. That is we can write it as p1 q1 plus p2 q2 plus p3 q3, right? Why? Because all others will be 0, just like p1 dot product with q2 will be equal to 0. Why? Because the angle between x and y axis will be 90 degrees, so we get the dot product is 0. So finally we can have the dot product of any two vector in 3D space p dot q. I can write it as p1 q1 p2 q2 p3 q3. That is, we can write it summation over I pi qi, where I runs from 1 to 3, because whatever the discussions we are having in the differential geometry, that completely depends on your E3 space, Euclidean space or R3 space. So let me write down the second one, that is bilinearity. Suppose you have A is one scalar, P is a vector, B is another scalar, Q is a vector, and R. So here we can write this as, how you write this multiplication, that is APR plus BQR, right? Now let me write down for symmetry. That means I can say P dot Q is obviously equal to Q dot P, because we know that a dot product is obviously going to satisfy the condition of a committed till law. Okay, so let me now define the norm. As you already know what is a norm in the functional analysis. So if you are having any vector say p with the coordinates say p1, p2 and p3, so how you are going to denote a norm? Norm of p is nothing but under root of p1 square plus p2 square plus p3 square, or you can write this as p dot p raised to 1/2. Or how you are defining a norm is a function from E3 to R. It is a real valued function. Now we are discussing for a real valued, but in the functional you have discussed a norm on E3 to, it is for real or complex. Here whatever the codomain you have, this may be real or complex, correct? So let me now write down the definition of norm. That is, norm of p is nothing but summation pi square raised to 1/2, correct? So that's why now we have to prove that this norm whatever we have defined already, instead of notation for p you have written this already for your functional. That is, norm of x is equal to summation xi square raised to 1/2, correct? For that we want to prove that it will satisfy the condition of triangular inequality. Norm of p plus q is nothing but norm of p plus norm of q. So next we have to prove, this is first, and second we have to prove if alpha is any scalar, we can write this as mod of alpha norm of p, correct? As already you have studied this in the functional analysis, I am not going to give you any detailed description, just we will have a discussion on what is a norm. Now, so what is a norm? Simply it will give a distance from the origin. So what is the difference between the norm and the modulus? So modulus is going to give you the distance between the any 2 points, but norm particularly give you the distance from the origin itself, right? So if I want to have this discussion, if alpha is any real number, if alpha is any scalar, so how you want to prove this? We have to prove norm of alpha p is nothing but mod of alpha into norm of p. Why we have introduced the concept of mod here, that you have to tell me in the next live lecture. So for that let us start with the first one. We have to prove the triangular inequality. That is, how you are going to prove triangular inequality? For that we will write down norm square of p plus q is nothing but summation over I pi plus qi raised to 2. Just like our definition. What is a norm of p? Instead of p, norm we are writing square of this, so that's why this raised to 1/2 will be removed. So now let me write down this summation over I. This will be pi plus qi, then this is pi plus qi, the dot product, or this square we can separate, and the on the next step I can write this summation over I pi plus qi, pi plus summation over I pi plus qi into qi, correct? So by Schwarz inequality we can say directly this will be nothing but less equal by norm of p plus q into norm of p plus, this is norm of p plus q into norm of q. Now we can write this as norm of p plus q, I can take common, so v remains with here norm of p plus norm of q. So hence we can now cancel, here we have the term, so let me write down this as less equal. Why this is less equal? With the help of Schwarz inequality we can have p norm square of p plus q, so cancelling this we can have norm of p plus q is less equal by norm of p plus norm of q. In this triangular inequality, you know that it will be hold in your 2D or 3D space only, but this will be not true. This will be simply equality in your real line, right? Now let me write down for the second property. I have to prove norm of alpha p is equal to mod of alpha norm of p. So let me write down square, that is alpha, this will be p1 p2 p3, it's a square, so this will be summation over I. I can write this with the help of our definition itself. What is our definition? Norm of p is summation over I pi square. So this raised to half will be removed if you are taking the square on both sides. So this will be simply alpha pi square. So we can write this as alpha square, as alpha is independent of summation, we can take outside summation over I pi square, right? So now taking square root on both sides, we can have norm of alpha p is nothing but mod of alpha, and this summation over I pi raised to 2 raised to 1 half. What is the value of this? Is nothing but your norm of p, and this is mod as it is. This will be norm of alpha p. Okay, so in the next lecture we will discuss what is a frame field, right? In the next lecture we will discuss what is a frame field. At that time you must know that our delta aj property, that is, we must know what is a delta aj if it is equal to 1, when it will be equal to 1 and it will be equal to 0. What is a frame field? It is just like our 3D space. So what we have seen in this lecture, we have started with our dot product. What is a dot product? How you write a dot product? A dot b is nothing but mod a mod b cos of theta. And what is a theta? Theta is an angle between the two vectors a and b. And actually a dot product is nothing but we have taken this concept from our multiplication itself. Let me show you that steps that we have written. Okay, what is simply multiplication? If you are performing a multiplication of 2.2 with 3 and 3 into 2, that I have shown you here, and how the multiplication, how the dot product is evaluated if a and b are any two vector with the x and y component. So this is what a multiplication, and then this will be written as u dot v is nothing but summation over I ui vi, and this is what a multiplication is now generalized to dot product. Dot product will be generalized to inner product, that is inner product is nothing but a generalization of a dot product. So if alpha and beta are any two real number, this we already know. Now we have to do the same thing for